In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to wind a bobbin and then thread the shuttle on my 1891 White VS IIb sewing machine. And the first thing we need to do, and I'm working with, there might be a shadow in the way from time to time. First thing we need to do is lower this little arm on the hand wheel, which keeps the shaft and the needle engaged with the hand wheel. So by lowering that to this position, the hand wheel will now move without moving the needle. That's the first thing. Our spool of thread, I use the center spool pin, and I've got the thread on there. And the first place we bring the thread to is this thread guide. And we go in between the two tension discs and around toward the right. Now that part of this is not in the manual copy that I have, but I find that it winds better if I do that. So that's the first step. And then the next step is to, I'll show you the bobbin. We're going to attach the thread to the bobbin. Now the VS IIb has an unusual bobbin in that it has a channel, a hole, a tube in the middle of it. And there is also a small hole on each end of the bobbin. And what I do is I pass the thread from this side through one of the holes in the bobbin, and I then place it in the bobbin winder. This knob pulls out, and the two ends sit on pins that are, one is here and one is here, and I put the bobbin winder in there. I put the bobbin in there. And then I will show you where we're going to bring the thread. We're going to come up from the bobbin through this thread guide wheel, and it's just a little channel there that you put the thread in, and then you bring the thread around the back and down to the bottom of the bobbin winder, and there is a little notch down there that will hold the thread, and that is what creates the tension for winding a good bobbin. So I'm going to set the camera up from an angle where I'm going to be doing the winding. Let me first show you what I mean when I thread the thread into the bobbin. So I've gone through that one tension disc, and as I said, the end of this thread is a little bit greasy. I bring the thread up through that hole like that. You can see it coming out the end. And now I'm going to place it in the bobbin winder, and by placing it in the bobbin winder with that thread through the hole on the end, the bobbin winder itself will hold the end of the thread tight so that when you start to wind the bobbin, this goes right around the bobbin. But let me set the camera up and I'll show you. So now you can see I've put the bobbin in the bobbin winder, and like I said, there's the thread that is coming through that hole. But I have found that right now the bobbin isn't really sitting in there completely securely. It seems to move into place a little bit better once I move the bobbin winder. But before I show you that, I'll show you the thread path. So we take the thread that comes from the spool and we go up to this guide, as I said, into that channel. Like that, and then straight down behind the bobbin winder, and you will feel it catch in a notch under there. And you have to do that without losing this. And this will just kind of pop into place like that. And now, because it's tight, you can check that that thread actually is in that notch. So we're going from the spool of thread to this, and the thread is loose right now. And then, as I said, the bobbin is set with the thread the way it is for tension. Then what you have to do is turn this screw to the right to make sure that the wheel is engaging the hand wheel over here. This little bar flips up, and what that does is keep the bobbin from overfilling. Now, my machine runs a little bit with a little bit of difficulty when I'm doing this. So I won't be able to go fast, I don't think. Now, what I want to do is, as soon as this thread gets started, I want to trim this off. And I forgot a pair of scissors. So let me just pull that out and put it over this way so it doesn't get wrapped around the bobbin winder itself. I really should have scissors. Let me grab some scissors. Okay, now I've trimmed that lead thread, and I've turned the hand wheel forward a few times to get this started and to pull up any slack in the thread. And now, like I said, my treadle doesn't always work easily when winding a bobbin. So I don't know how fast this will go, but you can see the action. And I'm doing this with one foot. Now, I can loosen this screw just a little bit and have it just hitting the hand wheel enough to turn it. And that makes the action a little bit easier for me with the pedal. And I know the camera is moving around a little bit, but I'm holding it while I'm doing this. So you would continue this until the bobbin is completely full, and from the other bobbins that I've wound this way, see, right now it's winding just slightly unevenly, but I have found that once I continue going and fill the bobbin, this actually evens out. So let's pretend that we have wound that bobbin enough now, and we're going to take it off of there, and I'll show you how it goes into the shuttle. Okay, so here is our wound bobbin, and I took it off of there by turning the screw underneath the bobbin winder to the left, which loosens the bobbin winder away from the hand wheel. And then you can just remove the bobbin opposite of the way you put it on there. Now you want the thread coming from the back, like that. And then it goes right in here. You hold on to this thread, slide it down on the post that's in the middle of the shuttle. It goes down this slot, and it'll actually get a little bit caught right around there. And on this one, we're going to go around the spring that's on the top. It doesn't go under the spring at this point here. It goes around it, but under the spring on the right. And then you have to hold your thumb on the thread at the front point. where it goes around the spring, and then just pull up a little bit and it's threaded. It's that easy. And then to place it in the machine, you have to re-engage the little arm that connects the shaft and the needle to the hand wheel. So just push that little arm back up again that was on the hand wheel. You have to line it up with the groove that it fits in. You raise your needle, and the shuttle sits with the flat side of the shuttle up against the left wall. There's a little indentation right here that sits directly to the right, and the flat side goes directly on the left. And let me show you that. So there's that indentation which this arm of the shuttle carrier fits into. The flat side of the shuttle is on the left. And then you shouldn't come out in the spring like that. Well, if that were still under the spring, you just pull the thread over to the left here, close the door, and I'm going to put it back under the spring, but then you close the door and pick the bobbin thread up with your needle. So you can see the shuttle is sitting in there. I've got the thread from the shuttle leading over to the left. I'm going to close this door. I have threaded the machine. So the machine is now threaded. And you take a piece of spare fabric, put under the needle, put the presser foot down, and turn the hand wheel forward, and the needle will pick up the bobbin thread. And you're ready to sew. Now it's gathering a bit at the back because that bobbin thread is still right here in the door, so you don't want to close this too tightly so that gets caught. But then just pull your work toward the back and pull that loose bobbin thread out, and you're ready to sew. These are the stitches right here, the pink row, which you can't really see in that light, right here where my thumb is. And there are loose threads that I haven't trimmed off, but this is the row right there on the bobbin side. Very nice tight stitches. So that is how to wind a bobbin, thread the shuttle, and start to sew with the 1891 White VS IIb.